Like, we killed them. That's what he was saying, frag, we killed them, you know.
Okay, so my first interaction with fragging, I think they were just saying, oh, you fragged me. It just meant death. But, okay, so with all this shit going on,
you can't go further. You also got to talk about the Sony PlayStation, because it had a link cable where you had to have 2 PlayStations. Probably
right. That's what I was going to get at. Which is we played Doom, but we had to have 2 PlayStations, 2 TVs, and we just faced them back to back. We had to set it up in a room.
I think we actually
Friday
faced them side by side on most times, because we didn't even do back to back. But the thing about it is, you had to have 2 copies of the game, 2 PlayStations, 2 TVs, and you had to be sitting within like 4 to 6 feet from each other.
Yeah, because that was
with
this
link cable. You had to use a link cable. Yeah.
And so my thing was like, but that was the first I remember where it wasn't split screen deathmatch. To where I couldn't see exactly where the fuck you were.
Unless you screen cheated.
Leaked.
Yeah, unless you
leaked. I don't know. I'm thinking of my ass.
Screen kill.
Unless I looked.
Did, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, that was huge. I remember we did that like
that was like
Friday.
90. That was like 95. I want to say 1995 was around when that happened.
Nice. Yeah, that's fuck. That was crazy.
It was before I was driving. Let's put it that way. And I started driving in 96. So there you go. It was like 94, 95. I would think it's 95 though. I want to say that sounds more because PlayStation was out. I want to say it came out in 95.
Well, I want to go back to the whole Mortal Kombat thing. I remember on the Cable Guy movie, he talks about at one point being able to play Mortal Kombat with your friend in Japan or something like that.
Yeah, very interesting. I watched that movie probably a month ago or so, and I thought it was interesting that they said that because it really changed more in the mainstream what people thought of the internet at that point in time. And a lot of people didn't really even catch on to it because that was really a movie that was ahead of its time simply for that specific outlook on what the internet would eventually become. Because it was getting there. But only if you were deeply into the internet would you understand it was going to be a possibility to do that.
Yeah. That is interesting. Fred, are you recording?
Let me check. Yeah.
Okay, good. No, I fucking murdered you. Okay, so
We're not recording.
Are you serious?
No, I'm fucking with you.
That fucking brain almost made me think it was recording. Okay,
right.
So
I think what we should do to start this off is talk about kind of blanket the 90s with specific games that we remember, and then talk about the ones that we played the most.
Right. So what was your first? Because definitely it wasn't Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat technically was, but it really wasn't.
No, really Doom 2. I think Doom 2, because the Doom that was on the PlayStation was a compilation of Doom, Doom 2, and Ultimate Doom. So Doom 2 at my friend's house was really the number one first time I probably played it wasn't even online. I mean, it was just calling another person's computer. So it was the first computer game where you didn't have to even be in the same house to play.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And that's a big deal. Like, I remember just even being able to do that with my friends in the neighborhood was fucking insane. Because that's all I knew, because I would ride my bike everywhere I wasn't.
Right. Well, that's even what we still did at that time. I mean, because a lot of the games, even when they came out on consoles, like I remember Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, or maybe it was just Mortal Kombat 3 in general, came out on the PlayStation, and there was no online play. You had to, because Sony didn't have an online at that point in time. They really didn't get online until the middle to end of the PlayStation 2 life cycle.
Right.
I'm getting ahead. But anyway, what I'm saying is you'd still have your friends over and play Mortal Kombat, passing the controller back and forth, for hours and hours on days.
Well, and so, because you had multiple friends whenever Mortal Kombat 2 came out. Mom got it for you like the day of, and then you had a whole bunch of friends over. I remember that. But the thing was, I was going to say, it means essentially when you finally have online, even with kids in your neighborhood, it means that you go home for dinner, but it doesn't mean you have to stop playing with him. Because after you get done eating, if you have an hour or so before you go to bed, you can fucking get back on and play with them.
Right. No, it was actually a big deal.
Huge.
Yeah, it was different than, playing a video game like you normally would, where you would just play it, you'd be lucky enough to get some playtime after you ate, and if you did everything you need to do, you could play for an hour to maybe 30 minutes to an hour at times. But yeah, you could actually play with somebody else. It took a little bit more of a physical calling someone on the phone and saying, hey, can you jump on so we can play, versus, just like how it is now, a lot of matchmaking and things like that. But it was very basic, but you had to communicate a lot more to get kind of things like that going if you wanted to know who you were playing with.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot. I mean, it was really hard to play with people elsewhere just because the input lag, if you play for somebody outside the U.S., you would have a horrible time. You'd be lucky to get kills, and same with the other person.
I think the most common way that people started playing around that time was probably LAN parties.
LAN parties were pretty big. I really didn't get into LAN parties until I want to say it was late 90s or early 2000s is one of those two.
Yeah. I had a lot of friends who would do that, and for some reason, I wasn't really into the idea of it. But like now that I think about it, I'm like, that probably would have been like the best time.
I know. I didn't think about it either.
Well,
back in the
I
day.
also wasn't really a PC gamer, like, until definitely the late 90s, because the first 2 PC games, I don't remember which one came first for me, but the first 2 PC games I ever played online were StarCraft and Half-Life. And those both took over my life for like years. Not obsessively as in like every minute, but like I fucking loved playing Half-Life and Team Fortress Classic with my friends online. And StarCraft obviously was also another like game that literally would be like drawing out strategies at school. Like I was in high school,
Well, so I remember 1998, I think, for Christmas, Mom and Dad bought us a computer.
Yeah, I believe that's right. Well, yeah, because I was already in college. So yeah, it would have been
98, and they were like, "Oh, we got this new game." The person at the store said that is the new, like, hip thing. I don't know. They did not fucking say hip, but you know what I mean.
They were like, they like this.
Yes.
If you got boys, they'll like this game.
And it was fucking Half-Life.
Yeah, it was Half-Life.
And I remember I opened up the box and I was like, "This is fucking crazy looking." Then I remember watching you play it. I would just sit down in the dark because I remember we had like a long not dining room. What the fuck? Front room.
Front room.
Yeah.
It was like
but it was kind of long.
Room, yeah.
At the very end of it, against the wall, we had the computer set up, and I would just like sit there and watch you play Half-Life, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening on this game?"
Well,
because it was crazy.
The funny thing is, we got the computer and we hooked it up and we installed Half-Life and we couldn't play it because we needed a graphics card. They didn't get us a graphics card.
Oh, I didn't know that. So Dad went to the fucking store?
We had to go to Best Buy, and we picked up, I want to say...
Wasn't he all pissed off because he was like, "They didn't fucking tell me."
Yeah, they didn't tell me they did that. Anyway, but we picked up, I want to say it was like a Voodoo 2, which was funny because they had...
How much did that run back in the day then?
It was at least $200-$300, I think.
Oh, shit, Dad was probably like, "God damn it."
Yeah,
I was not expecting to pay for this shit.
But they even had more expensive ones. They had a Voodoo 3, I think, just came out. But the funny thing about the Voodoo 3 is, a lot of video cards nowadays, they take power from your power supply inside your actual computer. The Voodoo 3 actually had a powerful model where it had an AC plug you had to plug into the back of it, in addition to plug in your computer and your monitor or your speakers.
I forgot
too.
about Voodoo. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there were Voodoo cards. So anyway, I think it was a Voodoo 3. You actually had to plug it into an AC.
Oh, I gotta ask Dad about this.
supply.
I bet he is so fucking pissed after that Christmas.
I never really asked him, but yeah, he had to spend more money.
A little bit
he
of
had
a
to spend
scuffle.
some more money for that.
Like,
yeah.
I remember he was pissed. I don't remember why though. So
yeah, that was probably it, because he had to spend more money for something that. Because we were just disappointed. It was like, we can't run it. It was like 1 frame a second. It wouldn't work.
Like, which is crazy because that means for like a day or two we were just like, "This fucking sucks."
Yeah, because it was right after Christmas. What are you gonna do?
That's the thing. And so I bet Dad was like, "We just fucking spent all this money on this computer. It's fucking useless right now. I gotta go buy this, Terry. I gotta fucking buy it. Meanwhile, you won't eat fucking leftover taco meat because I don't fucking want it. I want to go out to Mario's. Guess what, bitch? We're not going out to Mario's.
I don't remember all that.
Just got a fucking graphics card." And I'm sitting there like, "Dad, what's happening?" And he's like, "Ryan, go to your room. Your mom doesn't want to eat fucking taco meat."
Yeah,
I don't know, man. The 90s were a weird
You
time.
still sounded like that when you were like 13?
Are you talking to me or him?
I'm not going to tell him how old I am. Fuck you, Frederick. How's that sound?
Okay. Well, yeah, so we did that. I remember that was the first game we got. And then, that was the first game we got on the new computer. We had played Doom as a shareware version. We had played Return to Castle Wolfenstein, but it was on like a borrowed computer, like old IBM 386 shit. So this was our first real computer. That
because he would always bring those home at times. If he
he had one. He just had around the office and it was just sitting there.
I think what happened was that they would trade off. Like him and his friends that worked in that same office, they would be like, "For a month you can have it, then the next month I'll have it."
Oh, is that what it was?
I think that's what it was.
He never even told me. At least if he did, I don't fucking remember.
Yeah.
So but I remember it wasn't very long. It was probably another 6 to 8 months. I had been working, and so I ended up buying my own computer that I got through his company and everything at the time.
Was it the first one that wasn't fucking like tan?
Oh yeah, they were
off-white?
still tan off white.
But I'm saying, like, even when the one that you bought.
It was more of like a grayish white. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't the puke yellow you see all the time now.
God, but like, what's funny is I bet that shit comes back into style.
Oh, they're making a PC Classic. Some company is making a PC Classic.
I knew that would happen, Chewy.
It's I forgot what the name of the company is. It's called E something. But
Does it
basically,
look all like still like modern shape? But
no, it looks like the old like the PCs that sat where the monitor was on top of it. It doesn't come with a monitor or anything, but it has like HDMI hookups and it has the AV outlets. And
Oh, so
they're
it's kind
trying to
of
put
thin and flat.
it looks like it's maybe about 2.5, 3
I
inches
meant like
tall,
the
and then
fucking-
like 6 inches width. But it's like that mustardy yellow snot
yeah.
color,
Like
and
the kind you can put like a floppy disk in.
and I believe it actually has that for an SD card.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But they're trying to license.
Damn it, we say it's fucking cool. I just fucking said how
Well, it's
stupid
gonna-
it is.
from what-
PC Classic.
But what
I guess
what
it's
I've heard
fine.
is it's going to be on a Kickstarter, so there's kind of iffy if they're going to raise the money. Will it be delivered? How long will it take? All that. They're trying to license games like Doom and stuff that will work on a controller. They showed it working unlicensed games with like a running Doom and some other old PC games.
This is the thing. Aliens come down. No, aliens, Fred, are going to come down. They're going to look at us and go, I'm sorry, are these motherfuckers wishing they were like 30 years in the past? And they're like, yeah, because the human species got really fucking immature during the Reagan era. And they go, why? Was it because of President Reagan? And they go, hey, that's not for me to say. I can't speak to that. And they go, maybe it was because of social media. And then the other alien goes, social media wasn't around by then at that point. And then they're just kind of like, they sit there and they just go, huh, what must have happened? And then meanwhile, we're a bunch of fucking idiots with our fucking classic systems where we can just use a fucking ROM and just worry about the fucking owners getting sued for $12 million by Nintendo.
Yeah, that was interesting. That happened. Yeah, that was very interesting. But a lot of these mini systems are for. There's two types of people they're for. One, people that they know they can do the ROMs, but they kind of want to have a little novelty item, and it's easy to plug and play. Or two, hipsters that want to pretend like they were born in a different era.
Yep.
And
can see that.
that's really what it's for, and that's why they sell so well. And Nintendo did it right, but I mean, the truth is, if you really love that small in one package, it's so easy to hack those things and put ROMs for the games that you actually owned. Remember, you're legally allowed to own those backups.
Well, there you go. Well, we actually had a discussion about that earlier. But okay, hold on, Fred. Sorry, I just interrupted you. You haven't talked much. Go ahead and talk.
I was going to say, what kills me a little bit about the mini era that we're going through right now is that there have been like Atari minis for like the last 15 years. It's just that they ended up on like bargain bin shelves in CVS.
Well, the majority of those have been made by AT Games or At Games, however you want to pronounce it, and they make things that are nostalgic and people want to buy, and shitty versions and very shitty quality. So basically, they were supposed to be making an official. There's been tons of little Genesis ones they've made, even ones that like have a bunch of games included, but that you can actually play a Genesis game like through an emulator on it, so you could plug your cartridge in. But they were supposed to be making. It was announced, I think it was earlier this year in spring, or maybe it was even late last year. They announced that they were going to be Sega was going to be releasing a Master System, or not Master System, sorry, Mega Drive or Genesis, same thing, called different in different countries. Yep. And they were going to let AT Games do that, but then they actually said, no, we're not letting AT Games do that because there was so much backlash, and they've had so many bad consoles and all-in-ones and things. Their quality is just horrible. Most recently, they had a Namco arcade system where there was an exclusive Walmart one and there was a non-Walmart one. The Walmart one included, I forgot what game, and it wasn't on the non-Walmart one. And they advertised on the box that it had all the arcade ports, but if you got the Walmart one, it had all the NES ports, not arcade, even though it was advertised on the box. And their response was, the first batch, we couldn't get it in time, so you have to wait till a later production model to get it. Meaning that they're saying, oh, all our customers have to buy this shitty one, so that way the people that may want the really good one has to wait for it. Hopefully we sell out of it. So AT Games is just a shit company.
They suck. Suck dick.
So yes, all these flashbacks and minis have been around for a while, but they're just not. They're not the same quality as they've been coming out with lately, and I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I want to get back real quick so we don't get off. But
Sorry,
No, we're good. I like that discussion we had. But PC gaming, so what, after Half-Life, or so did you ever play Half-Life online?
No, Half-Life Online was not really around. It was it was a mod, I believe, and it came out after we had kind of stopped playing Half-Life by that time.
So what was your first online because it was on PC, it wasn't on console. You
right?
played
Yeah, no. It was kind of a cross between two games: Alien vs Predator 2.
I mentioned that multiple times on the show, like almost on a weekly basis, because I always say that that's my first understanding of online gaming because you played it.
Yeah, I played it a shit ton. I mean, like there was leagues for it, and
Brandon, you played it too, right?
I was in one of the top.
never mind.
I can't even remember what the name of the league was, but I was in one of the top, like competitive spots there. I would mainly play as like the Marine or the corporate. They had a corporate, which was like Wayland Yutani, that universe or whatever. And so I'd play as them, and I'd be playing with a pulse rifle, and I could snipe you across the map with like a few bullets with a pulse rifle.